Hello, Prime Minister. Thank you for hosting us today.
Oh, my absolute pleasure, and nice pink tie for the McGrath Foundation.
Absolutely. Now, Prime Minister, they say the two most difficult jobs in Australia are those of the Prime Minister and the captain of the Australian cricket team. Given you hold one of these jobs, which do you think is easier?
Well, I think at the moment, the Australian cricket captain has a very good team, but he is a great leader. But I think it is perhaps less stressful to be the Australian cricket captain than trying to manage a big economy and to do what we have to do. But I think Pat Cummins is doing a magnificent job. If I can be as good a Prime Minister as Patrick Cummins is a captain, I'll be doing well.
That's very kind of you. Now, Prime Minister, what do cricket and politics have in common?
Oh, that they are about teamwork, and they're about making sure that you get the planning right, and then you've got to implement the plan that you've worked through. And we saw that in the recent test,
Right,
of course,
yes.
with keeping Travis Head on the bowl at the beginning of the.
Do you think there was a science in it, or was that just one of those things?
No. I think he, the captain, had thought that through, and you've got to have the things go right for you,
And they did.
And they did.
Prime Minister, now what is it about cricket between India and Australia which brings out the best in us and not the best in us?
Oh, I think it's such a rivalry between two great cricketing nations, and I went to the test at Ahmedabad during the last series at Narendra Modi Stadium there.
How's that feeling, the chariot ride around the grounds? Was it fun? Was it something you expected?
I did not expect it, but it was enormous fun. And Prime Minister Modi and I get on very well, and it was a very kind gesture.
Can we expect something like that at the Sydney Cricket Ground? You going, taking a chariot ride around the SCG at about 10:20?
I think Australian fans are a little bit less generous towards their politicians, and I don't think that would go down very well in Australia.
What about the rumours I hear that you're looking at renaming the Manuka Oval after being inspired by Prime Minister Modi to have the leader of the country having an oval named after him? And I think caucus is holding you back on it. Is that true, the rumours?
Yeah, well, I think that any Prime Minister who did that in Australia, I don't think it would be met with applause.
But has a thought crossed your mind?
No, not for a second.
Right. Now, while on political favours, I note that the Indian cricket team is not planning to play any test matches in Australia for the next few years. They don't allow any Indian players to take part in the Big Bash League. Time to ask your friend Prime Minister Modi for a favour to open the gates and allow a little bit more cricket interaction between the two nations?
Yeah, I think the IPL's been so strong that there's a bit of protectionism going in there, and I understand that. But many, of course, of the Australian players have benefited, not just financially, but benefited from the skills that they've learned and that experience. I know that they love going to India. We have a charity game right here where we're standing.
Right.
And the last time we had one, Brett Lee, who's big in India, of course.
He is.
Was coming in to bowl here, and he loves going to India, and so do, I think, Steve Waugh deserves enormous credit as well for really transforming the way that the tours of India and playing in India are seen. And I know that all of the Australian players who've been there and played in the IPL or, of course, toured with the Australian teams have loved it.
I know you've trashed Brett Lee's fast bowling and his tennis playing abilities. I remember hearing that. But now I have a really important question for you. The Bunnies.
Yes.
The Rabbits are behind by 2 points in a semi-final game against the Melbourne Storms with 10 minutes to play. Australia has 20 runs to score with last 2 overs to win the game. Which channel for you?
Oh, gee. Oh, you're asking me to choose between two great passions. So what I would do is work out some way to watch both, maybe one on a device and one on a channel.
I like the middle path you've taken.
You could do that.
Prime Minister, now on a serious note, an election year coming up.
Yeah.
Your message for the Indian Australian community?
That my government has been very proud in cementing and improving the relationship with India. It's never been stronger. I want to build on that foundation in a second term. I'm a strong supporter of our multiculturalism here in Australia. My government is committed to that, to building an inclusive society, one in which a very important central part of that is the relationship with the Indian Australian community.
Thank you, Prime Minister. All the best.
Thank you
for
very much.
hosting us.
Thank